Hollywood thrives on fame, fortune, and carefully crafted images. But behind the scenes, its biggest stars and studios have been entangled in scandals they desperately tried to bury. From explosive affairs to criminal cover-ups, some of the most shocking secrets were hidden for years until the truth finally surfaced. Get ready because we're about to uncover 22 jaw-dropping scandals that Hollywood never wanted you to know. Charlie Chaplin, one of Hollywood's most iconic figures, had a history of controversial relationships with young actresses.
I used to love her. Do you remember Lita?
He married Lita Gray when she was just 16, and he was forced into marriage after she became pregnant. The scandalous divorce that followed included allegations of emotional abuse, infidelity, and disturbing behavior, with court documents detailing shocking accusations. Hollywood worked hard to suppress these stories, fearing the damage they could do to Chaplin's image in the industry itself. However, despite their efforts, Chaplin's personal life became a media spectacle, tarnishing his otherwise legendary career. Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle was one of Hollywood's biggest stars until a tragic incident in 1921 changed everything. He was accused of assaulting and accidentally killing actress Virginia Rapp during a party. The scandal led to 3 trials, 2 of which resulted in hung juries before he was ultimately acquitted. However, his career never recovered. Hollywood desperately tried to distance itself from the controversy, fearing public backlash. The case helped push Hollywood towards stricter moral codes in film, but the damage to Arbuckle's reputation was irreversible. The gruesome 1947 murder of aspiring actress Elizabeth Short, famously known as the Black Dahlia, remains one of Hollywood's most disturbing unsolved crimes. Her body was found mutilated and bisected in Los Angeles, sparking a media frenzy. Speculations about her involvement with Hollywood elites fueled rumors that powerful figures tried to suppress parts of the investigation. Some believe the case was intentionally left unsolved to protect individuals tied to the industry. To this day, her murder remains shrouded in mystery, with numerous theories suggesting Hollywood insiders may have played a role in covering up the crime. Judy Garland, best known as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, was a victim of Hollywood's toxic control over young stars.
From coast to coast, from Canada to Mexico, they're doing a new dance, a tried and a true dance that will sweep the land. And you'll think it's so grand, you'll have to learn how to do.
From childhood, MGM executives forced her onto strict diets, fed her amphetamines to keep her thin and energetic, and barbiturates to help her sleep. She was overworked and mentally drained, yet Hollywood presented her as a happy, successful actress. As she grew older, her struggles with addiction and mental health became public knowledge. The industry tried to keep the truth hidden for years, but Garland's tragic downfall exposed the dark reality of Hollywood's treatment of child actors. In the 1940s, Ingrid Bergman was America's sweetheart until she had an affair with married Italian director Roberto Rossellini. When news broke that she was pregnant with his child, the backlash was so severe that she was denounced on the U.S. Senate floor as a powerful force for evil. Hollywood tried to contain the scandal, fearing it would damage her image and box office appeal. She was essentially blacklisted from American films for years. It wasn't until her Oscar-winning comeback in Anastasia that she was forgiven, but the scandal had permanently altered her Hollywood career. Lana Turner's romance with mobster Johnny Stompanato was scandalous from the start, but it took a deadly turn in 1958. After a heated argument, Turner's 14-year-old daughter, Cheryl Crane, stabbed Stompanato to death, claiming she was protecting her mother from his violent abuse. Hollywood worked quickly to protect Turner's image, portraying her as a victim of domestic violence. The case was ruled justifiable homicide, but the press had a field day with the story.
I thought, well, I'm just living my life like anyone else, but suddenly mine became headlines. You know, Jane Doe could have done the very same thing, and who would have cared?
Despite the scandal, Turner's career survived, thanks in part to Hollywood's careful handling of the public narrative. Hedy Lamarr was a Hollywood beauty and a scientific genius, but later in life, she was arrested multiple times for shoplifting. The first incident in the 1960s saw her accused of stealing $86 worth of goods, and more incidents followed over the years. Hollywood worked to suppress these stories, fearing they would tarnish her once glamorous image. While the scandal hurt her reputation, her legacy was later redeemed when the world recognized her contributions to technology, including a radio guidance system that paved the way for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
I'll read you something pretty. People are unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, alternative motives. Do good anyway.
If you're enjoying these shocking Hollywood scandals so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into Hollywood's dark secrets. Now let's get back to the scandals. Gloria Graham shocked Hollywood when she married Anthony Ray, the son of her ex-husband, director Nicholas Ray. Married to, the scandal first broke when Nicholas allegedly caught Gloria in bed with Anthony while he was still a teenager. Years later, the two married, causing a media frenzy.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bailey.
Hello, Violet. Hey, you look good. That's some dress you got on there.
What? This old thing? Well, I only wear it when I don't care how I look.
Hollywood initially tried to minimize the coverage, fearing public outrage. While Graham continued acting, the scandal overshadowed much of her later career, proving that even in Hollywood, some relationships were too controversial to ignore. The legendary feud between Joan Crawford and Bette Davis was one of Hollywood's biggest behind-the-scenes battles. While studios often played up their rivalry for publicity, they also worked hard to downplay just how bitter it really was.
But afterwards, how would you characterize your relationship?
Came when she saw to it I didn't get the Oscar for Baby Jane. She went to all the New York nominees and said, if you can't get out there, I'll accept your award. And please do not vote for her.
Their hatred escalated during the filming of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, leading to on-set sabotage and public insults. At one point, Davis allegedly kicked Crawford so hard during a scene that she needed stitches. Hollywood tried to spin their feud as harmless competition, but their animosity was anything but staged. Best known for playing Superman in the 1950s, George Reeves was found dead from a gunshot wound in 1959. Officially ruled a suicide, many believed there was more to the story. Some speculated that his affair with the wife of MGM executive Eddie Mannix played a role in his mysterious death. Hollywood preferred the suicide explanation to avoid further scandal. But theories of murder and cover-ups have persisted for decades, keeping Reeves's death one of Hollywood's greatest mysteries. Elizabeth Taylor's love life was as dramatic as any Hollywood film. She married 8 times, but her most infamous scandal came when she had an affair with Eddie Fisher, who was married to America's sweetheart, Debbie Reynolds. The backlash was severe, with Taylor being labeled a homewrecker. Hollywood tried to minimize the controversy, but the press had a field day. However, Taylor thrived despite the scandal, later marrying Richard Burton twice, and proving that no amount of bad publicity could kill her career. In the 1940s, actress Olivia de Havilland took Warner Brothers to court over the abusive contract system that kept actors trapped under long-term unfair agreements.
Which limited the right of an employer to enforce a contract against an employee for more than 7 years.
Hollywood tried to suppress the case, fearing it would set a dangerous precedent. De Havilland won, and the ruling, now known as the De Havilland Law, gave actors more control over their careers. The lawsuit changed Hollywood forever, but at the time, studios did everything they could to keep it out of the headlines. Director Roman Polanski was arrested in 1977 for assaulting a 13-year-old girl. He pleaded guilty, but fled the U.S. before sentencing, escaping to Europe. Hollywood was divided. While some condemned his actions, many influential figures defended him. The industry tried to soften the scandal by highlighting his filmmaking talent, but the truth could never be fully buried. Despite being a fugitive, Polanski continued making films and even won an Oscar in 2003, sparking outrage. Actress Natalie Wood drowned in 1981 under suspicious circumstances while on a yacht with her husband Robert Wagner and actor Christopher Walken. The official story was an accident, but questions lingered, especially after it was revealed that she was terrified of water.
Conscious or had already died when she hit the water. She didn't have water in her lungs. A great number of bruises that are not consistent with any type of bumping into anything.
Rumors swirled about an argument before her death, and in 2018, Wagner was named a person of interest. Hollywood tried to keep the case quiet, but speculation persists about whether Wood's death was truly an accident or something more sinister. Marilyn Monroe's connections to President John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert have long fueled conspiracy theories. Her sudden death in 1962 was ruled an overdose, but many believe she was silenced due to her alleged affairs with the Kennedys.
Hollywood, was it a happy time for you, or?
Yes, it is. It's a very happy time. I'm happy to be back. As I said, it's my hometown.
Yes.
Well, you're a happy girl now. When you go to London? Yes, I'm much happier though. I'm very pleased.
Is it true that you submitted a list of directors that you would work with? We only know the rumors we hear, you know.
I would rather say that I have director approval, and that is true.
Hollywood and political elites worked hard to suppress details of her relationships in final days. Some suspect foul play, but the truth remains buried beneath decades of speculation and cover-ups. Errol Flynn was one of Hollywood's biggest stars, but in 1942, he was accused of assaulting 2 underage girls. Despite the serious charges, Flynn's legal team and the studio worked hard to protect his reputation. He was ultimately acquitted, and the scandal was largely forgotten as he continued his career. However, rumors of his inappropriate relationships with young women persisted long after his death, casting a shadow over his legacy.
I cannot justify that, because I've only read about it in the newspaper. I only know that he told me personally, time and again, that the people who had done all these atrocious things, and I have literal evidence of them and photographic evidence of them, he said to me, and so did his brother Raoul, that they would be given justice that they did not really deserve, but they would give, and I saw all evidence up until the time I left as to this. Now, the other radical elements in his movement, I suppose, in the time of revolution, you cannot control wild people.
Clark Gable, the Gone with the Wind star, had a secret love child with actress Loretta Young in the 1930s.
I do want to take this opportunity of expressing my thanks and sincere gratitude to Mr. Frank Capra, the director of It Happened One Night, and Miss Claudette Colbert, who was gracious enough to co-star with me in that same picture. Thank you.
Young, fearing backlash, secretly gave birth and later adopted her own daughter to avoid scandal. Hollywood played along, covering up the truth for decades. It wasn't until years later that Young admitted Gable was the father, revealing how the studio system controlled the personal lives of its stars. Shirley Temple was America's sweetheart, but behind the scenes, she faced disturbing experiences in Hollywood. As a child actress, she was exposed to predatory behavior from executives, including disturbing encounters at auditions, the sexual exploitation, sexual abuse. Hollywood painted her life as wholesome and perfect, hiding the industry's darker realities. While Temple later spoke out about some of these experiences, the full extent of what she endured was never widely publicized. Howard Hughes was a billionaire businessman who wielded immense power over Hollywood. He dated numerous actresses, often controlling their careers and personal lives.
And was questioned as to Hughes' special treatment.
Now, will you give me the questions in advance that you want to ask me while I am here? Or will you give them to any third neutral party? Is it not true that you are going to propound the questions for me as I testify and based upon what I testify as I go along? Are you willing to set aside the questions in advance which you will ask me?
Mr. Hughes.
His later years were marked by extreme paranoia and seclusion, with rumors that he kept actresses under surveillance. Hollywood tried to downplay his erratic behavior, but after his death, the extent of his influence and his mental decline became widely known. After Joan Crawford's death, her adopted daughter Christina released Mommy Dearest, a tell-all book accusing Crawford of physical and emotional abuse.
I don't think she anticipated being a bad mother. I think she wanted children desperately. She could not have them. And she went to an enormous amount of trouble to adopt them outside of the state of California, which did not permit single parents to adopt at that time.
Who were your fathers? She was married a few times, right?
Hollywood tried to dismiss the claims, but the book, and later the infamous movie, painted Crawford as a monstrous mother. Some defended her, but others confirmed that her private life was far from the glamorous image she projected on screen. Mae West was one of the most controversial stars of early Hollywood, known for her provocative films and risque humor.
Well, when I'm good, I'm very good. But when I'm bad, I'm better.
I see a man in your life.
What, only one?
I changed my mind.
Yeah, does it work any better? Well, I'm caught between two evils. I generally like to take the one I never tried.
The industry often censored or outright banned her movies for being too suggestive. Hollywood censors tried to control her, but West refused to conform, becoming a symbol of female independence. Despite multiple attempts to suppress her work, she remained a trailblazer for women in entertainment. Jean Harlow's second husband, Paul Byrne, was found dead in their home just months after their wedding. The official story was suicide, but speculation about foul play spread rapidly. Upon suicide note, some believed Harlow's career was at risk if details of their troubled marriage surfaced. Hollywood studios stepped in to control the narrative, ensuring Harlow remained a star despite the lingering mystery. Which of these Hollywood scandals shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood secrets. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.